And with that, as we do for all of our meetings, we start with keeping our center in mind of why we're all here, and that is to promote after school. And so I don't remember whose great idea it was. I'll give credit today to Katie for centering us always with local programming, and super excited to introduce Sonia to tell us about what everybody is not doing. Super excited to welcome you, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, definitely for the opportunity to be here. Is it okay if I share my screen? Yes, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so ENDIT is actually an acronym. ENDIT is an acronym for Everybody Is Not Doing It. And my husband and I, my family really, started this back in 2010. And it was in response to a lot of negative peer and media pressures targeting youth. And there's a need in the community for healthy and positive alternatives. Everyone thought that everyone else was doing it, and everyone could be celebrities, YouTubers, their favorite rapper, could be their misguided peers as well, thought everyone was doing it. And to answer your question, it could be anything from disrespecting their parents, toying with drugs, being reckless about their future, and the list goes on. So it could be any of those things that look like they're positive because the majority is doing them, or they think they're doing them, but they're really not. Okay. All right, so what do we actually do? We are a preventative program. We do have some at risk on a case-by-case basis, but we're primarily preventative. We want to prevent adverse behaviors in preteens and teens by providing education, inspiration, and positive alternatives using the arts. So we have an after school, a summer program, and we also do community events as well. Through our after school and summer experience, we infuse the arts with life skills, character development, and preventative education in a positive environment, and it's just for older youth, so middle and high school again. The arts that we offer, and this is definitely like on a daily or weekly basis, is performing arts, which includes acting, singing, dancing, visual arts, digital arts, and music production. Some of the pictures we have here are from, some of them are from this past summer and some from the summer before, but the two in the top was actually a 90s theme. So we did a 90s theme summer camp, and we had a 90s theme showcase at the end. So the ladies over here had done some Spice Girls and some New Edition, I'm sorry, not New Edition, some Destiny's Child, I believe. And then the guys over here did some New Edition and some Boys to Men. And as well as the performing visual arts, digital arts, and music production, we also offer tutoring, college and career prep, field trips, that's what you see in the middle, guest speakers, and free and low cost meal options. We find with the teens that we also offer low cost, not just free, because sometimes the free offerings they don't want. So we give them choices by offering other low cost options as well. So in addition to the after school that's on a daily basis, right after school, we also offer after school just at a later time, we have a performance team. And that is usually just our high schoolers. They provide community education and awareness on topics such as peer pressure, bullying, teen dating abuse, and human trafficking. The team receives community service hours for their work. So what that looks like is if we are tackling bullying, then our performance team will actually study that topic. They will we'll have guest speakers come in, we'll watch, videos on it, and then we put together an original storyline that they then perform for their peers and the community. So that peer-to-peer connection has been outstanding because they're more likely to listen to each other than to listen to us as adults. The other part about it is, again, because they're involved in the writing of it and the material, then it's very relevant to their time. And there have been times when we even have to update because things change so fast. And they'll tell me, no, Miss Sonia, we don't say that anymore. We say this now. So it's a really cool process. We have, this picture here is from the Sunrise Theater. We've been able to reach literally thousands, whether it's at schools, churches, events, and agencies. This here at the Sunrise Theater was a couple of summers ago. We did our most popular play, which is on child sex trafficking. And it is presented in a way that's very tasteful. It is not vulgar or, the kids really do a good job handling the sensitive topic. So we invited all of the summer camps around St. Lucie County and even a couple from Martin County, and they were able to come and see the show for free that summer. And that was sponsored by Children's Services Council, St. Lucie. So that was a great opportunity. One of our successes that we are really excited about is, as I said, we have a play or production on child sex trafficking. It's called Daddy. It's an original production that was written around 2017. We were still performing it when the pandemic hit. We still kept getting requests. We even performed it down in Broward County. We were scheduled to perform it at Indian River State College for the college students, but then the pandemic hit. So that gave us an opportunity to do a movie project. So we rewrote Daddy, the stage play, as a screenplay. And now we have filmed it. We just finished like about a month or so ago, and it is in editing. So as far as the stage play itself, we received several awards. We were featured on the news, the radio, and the newspapers because the information was so timely and relevant. It really got their peers' attention. So we are looking to hopefully release this later in the year, hopefully November. So you see the pictures here are from some of the scenes that were shot for this project. As far as other successes, we can say that 100% of our students have either graduated or they advance to the next grade every year. 100% of our seniors graduate from high school and they pursue higher education, military jobs, or entrepreneurship. We have had 3 of our high schoolers to actually get full ride scholarships for the performing arts in their higher institutions. One of them was even offered into the Howard University theater program, but she chose to go to Spelman instead. So that's great. A lot of our teens don't actually want to pursue acting or the performing arts. They're just good at it and they like it because of the messages. They're passionate about getting the information out to their peers. And then also, I think they like the teaming, and then they enjoy the realistic fiction of it. They wouldn't necessarily go and do Cinderella or something like that. So it's been great. And then 100% of our students have no juvenile delinquency arrests. So those are our accomplishments, that we're very proud of. We have, as I said, we, with the pandemic, have moved more into a visual space, virtual, exploring, doing things online. We are anxious to get back to the audiences, the live audiences, but it did create a opportunity for us to create our first movie. So that's all I have as far as sharing my screen.
Awesome. Thank you so much. One of the things we like to do is open up just to questions and answers. And I usually go first, and I know I prepped you and told you what I was going to ask you, but listening to you share, I do have just 2 other questions that I wanted to ask first. And that was, do you follow your students in terms of your outcomes? Like, I know that you put 100% don't have juvenile delinquency arrest. I'm curious if that is a sustained impact that you guys see, if that's something that you're tracking. And I don't know if that's for you or Ashley, or if you happen to know that information.
I do know that after graduation, it's not 100%. I know that for sure. But we do not formally track it at this time. But I do know for sure it drops, not significantly, but I know of a couple of situations.
Okay. But my second question was, you mentioned related to food that when you have the free options that they don't take that up. I'm making an assumption that that's some sort of stigma related thing. And am I wrong in that assumption? Or can you just talk a little bit about that? And the reason why I ask is, some of the work that we do here at Florida After School, we partner with No Kid Hungry Florida. So a lot of our policy conversations are how can we leverage after school programs to be food providers. And I love hearing examples of folks where they say, well, we want to, but so can you talk just a little bit more about that?
Sure. It's been our experience. I think one of it, especially with teens, it is, what it looks like. I'm going in here to get this food. The other is, to be honest, the meal choices are not always, something that they think tastes good, So what we did this summer that was extremely successful is we offered, we don't have a full kitchen. We have like a few microwaves and stuff, but I bought Jamaican patties, the frozen pizzas, the little individual pizzas, chips, fruit, drinks. They would drink the chocolate milk, and we offered kind of like a little combo, for $2. Nothing was more than $2 for a combo. With that, they would be more likely to take that, and then they may go grab something from the free counter to go with it. And I don't know if that helped to disguise it, I don't know. But most of them opted to get the $2 combos. And I think it was, probably a combination of what the choices were, as well as, they don't want to be the only one.
Got it. I would love to connect you and have you kind of share that experience with our No Kid Hungry folks as we're developing and they're working with the food banks around some of this very conversation about making sure that break spots have food that kids actually want to eat, as opposed to like, I akin it to like when you used to go to the roller rink or the roller skating. It's like if you bring your own skates or you rent the brown Bobos, that's what we called them. I'm not sure, what I'm talking about. Like, You don't want to do that. And so having these kind of conversations about how can we get, why do we have to have, the great value brand of Ritz crackers? Why can't we have Ritz? Right. That type of thing. So they're in these conversations right now, but the more local stories that they can have as they're advocating for these types of food purchases through Feeding America or Farm Share, if we can provide them these local stories, I think that will help them leverage their position.
Awesome. Another thing we did do was we bought ketchup, mustard, barbecue sauce, even hot sauce, because that's what, like, some of the things they said it was missing. It was a burger, but it doesn't taste like anything. So we would buy condiments, mayo, lettuce, tomato, microwave bacon. They could add to it cheese. We did, just to make taste your options that they may, actually eat. So
great. Okay, now I'll go to my original question. Is the Florida After School Network. What do you as a local program see as a benefit of a network like this to impact what you do at the local level?
I would say definitely if you all have like a grants resources page or something like that that's specific to after school programs. Also, like I know with CSC St. Lucie, we meet weekly with the programs and share ideas and resources and stuff. I don't know cumulatively with everyone from different areas if there's a way to, probably the Zoom would be too big, but I don't know, like a information resource sharing or something, even events and activities. I know when we were out touring with the play and everything, and we've done one on teen dating abuse as well, we were looking for opportunities to go into other areas and present the information to other kids. So, things like that. And I'm sure we're not the only ones that would love to connect across counties and stuff. That would be great.
Awesome. Okay, now I'll stop asking questions, and to our other folks that are on, if they have questions for Sonia to pose. Now's your chance.
I'll start. Hi, everybody. I'm Jennifer. I'm actually founder and CEO of the Giving Closet Project, which some of you know me from. And then also I'm the youth entrepreneurship specialist for the Florida After School Network. I came on board in May. However, no, this program sounds amazing. And I know you said St. Lucie. Are you currently only serving youth in St. Lucie right now?
Right now, this is where we're based. I have had a couple of students to come from Vero, Indian River County, and we actually performed in Indian River County. We did St. Edward's School. We did the play there, I think a year or so ago. Also Martin County, we have connected with them some as well. Our goal is, what we've been doing is, since 2018 is when we reached the full vision of this program, even though we've been in existence since 2010. 2018 is when we were able to finally pitch our vision to CSC, and they believed in it, thank goodness. So we've been building a duplicatable model that we can then, apply to other areas. That's what the goal is, holistically, but for now we do partner with other areas.
So do you actually have a brick and mortar where students are bussed in, or do you connect and partner with like, Boys and Girls Clubs, YMCAs, where you have multiple sites through the schools?
We actually have brick and mortar now.
Okay.
Thankfully. So yes, we have a performing arts center here in Fort Pierce. We are close to US 1 off of 6th Street. We have about 4,000 square feet. So we do it all in here. We have a large room for our rehearsals and our dance practices and stuff like that. And, different wings set for different things, academics versus music, the visual arts. So costume rooms, all of that stuff used to be in my garage.
Wow.
So.
I understand. Mari's on here. I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of synergy between your program and what is it? Don't Miss a Beat. Have you heard of Don't Miss a Beat? They're out of Jacksonville, but they're doing a lot of stuff. Mari, does Don't Miss a Beat? I know they focus on the arts and like music, but do they have like a character development or any focus with like sex trafficking?
I don't think they have that aspect, but I could be.
Might be worth connecting them. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'll
This
look
is
them
awesome.
up. You said they're in Jacksonville?
They are. Yep.
I think I want to jump in for a second because I think Sonia's being very humble in how she talks about her program. It really was, and when we got involved, she and her husband had already been doing a lot of work in this space, but it wasn't necessarily because there was some need that got brought to her. It literally was the kids. The kids drove them to do what they did. And I love that about this program because they have been able to shift and add and take away based on the feedback from the kids involved. And I think that's so important because a lot of times we don't listen to the kids when they're asking for what they want. And specifically at Endit, the kids drive what happens. And it's so refreshing to see that happening in a program, especially when we're talking about middle and high school students who really value that feedback.
I love that.
Do we have mechanisms and Katie or Mari or anybody else, Kate, the other Katie, Liliana, if you guys want to jump in, do we have mechanisms where within our programs where kids report what they need? I know oftentimes at the network, we're talking directly to providers, but have you built those mechanisms into your communication processes where actual parents, families, children, youth can say, hey, CSC funder, or hey, this organization, or hey, we are really interested in X?
I can just jump in here. We have a middle school professional development specialist that works on staff. We are funded through the Palm Beach County Youth Services Department that actually funds a specific position. He works with middle school age youth. We do so much work around this. So we provide trainings to after-school professionals who work with the youth. We conduct future leader meetings. I think it's monthly right now. And we're basically giving them a platform to share their ideas that can be used in the community. And then we also offer a teen advisory council. So every after school program would be offered this opportunity to have these youth serve on this council to come up with ideas and goals for that specific program to give them this leadership opportunity. I mean, we have a lot of work that goes into this. And I'm speaking on behalf of Anton Spalding. He works with all of these youth. He's amazing. He also conducts the trainings himself. We have recordings of these meetings I would love to share with you so you can kind of hear firsthand from the youth, from the people on the call. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on in Palm Beach County.
I love that. No, and I think you're right. And Holly, that was such a great question because I think, what we've done for so long, and after being in the after school space for, we always ask the teachers or we ask the programs, oh, how are things going? And, their perspective is going to be completely different from actually getting the perspective from the youth that are served. Like, this is why I think, doing pre and post surveys or having impact surveys at the end of, a quarter or at the end of each year. I mean, how a program's supposed to improve if we're not lifting the youth's voices or paying attention to what they're saying. So I would definitely love to see some of those meetings that have already taken place. That's awesome.
Mari, did you want to jump in?
I was just going to say, in Jacksonville, like I said, I used to be the assistant director of preteen and teen programming, and within that Boys and Girls Club, Police Athletic League, all of them, they have their own leadership teams as well. I don't know if you can see bipolar or not, but we have a program called MILAC, which is Mayor's Young Leaders Advisory Council. And what their purpose is to reach out to the mayor, local government, and make those changes to have the voice of the youth heard. So we always encourage them to, and sometimes we also ask them what changes do you think should be made in after school, because most of them have been through those programs as well throughout the year. So that's the way that we.
Well, as we think about this more within each of our different kind of divisions, we know that there's going to be some opportunities coming up. Our partnership with YMCA, who's usually on this call, not here today, right? We host a teen town hall every year. It's during Children's Week. I'm sure Jenna's going to mention this in a little while in terms of Children's Week, but we're putting together the pieces of that. And one of the big shifts that we made last year was you didn't need to be a YMCA person to participate in this anymore. So when we're starting to think about youth voice, and especially as you're talking about how they're communicating directly, not only with their program providers, but maybe even the decision makers and policy leaders in their community, let's take it a one step further up to, or help our local folks take it one step further up to the state level, where they have the opportunity to share space with department heads. I went to a fundraiser 2 weeks ago, and the secretary from DCF and ACA, who was formerly at DGHA, was there, and they remembered me, and they're like, "Oh, it's so nice to see you. When are we doing that again? We really want to do this. We want to ask the youth questions. We want to engage more with them." So there's definitely an appetite for this. So I think that building on your local successes will be something that that we should really try to leverage to engage more kids in that type of opportunity and process. And whether it's regional, maybe like as opposed to just one statewide, Zoom call with 19 kids, maybe regional, something like that. But I would love to explore that with this group. Youth voice is absolutely paramount. All right, any other questions for Sonia? This is what happens, Sonia. So you come, you share, and then we start having ideas and working together and getting also the networking that's happening across county lines. So
awesome.